So this little horse is Nezar, and he's 12 years old. Last raced in September 2021. Has been with his owner now for some time, well over a year, and he's actually just starting his retraining now. He's had lots of field time, just time to chill out, enjoy, not doing an awful lot. He had a good racing career. He was a good horse. And so apart from doing some little hacks now and again, he hasn't really done anything else. So this is us starting him. Now, we haven't done any of these videos for a little while, and I actually really enjoy doing them. So, and this has been really great. So yeah, I thought we'd do some with him. So this is the first day of me riding him. Very, very tight, very head up in the air, not quite sure what to do, having to really kind of push him along. And you'll see I'm just kind of playing about with the top of his neck there, and just little rubbing, that's all I'm doing. And he's just starting to drop a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that is because you can see I've got no gadgets or anything else on him. But he was really coming against me. And because his head is so upright, the neck is so hollow, there's absolutely nothing there. I can't feel his mouth. There's just nothing there. So I'm just gently trying to persuade him to drop his head down with just little rub, tiny bit of finger pressure just on the top of his neck there, and he just drops it down. So I play about with him. He drops his head down. I leave him alone. I'm still trying to, as we would with some of the others, work my hands, just keep them low and soft, and just allow him to move forward. I mean, you can see his little choppy trot, and it looks quite rushed because I'm really having to just push him along. And the canter, trying to get, I mean, he's completely gone there. Bless him, he just can't. He's struggling a little bit to canter in the school. And okay, so this is the first day ridden. He's obviously not done anything, properly for a year. And some people are saying, well, why are you cantering now? Well, the reason is because I want to see if he'll just drop that head in canter for me, because some horses will. If they won't in trot, they might just drop it in canter because you can get them going a little bit more forward. Nezar, however, he's not going in the canter. And it's not because there's lack of steering. It's not because there's anything wrong, and it's not because he doesn't want to, or he obviously doesn't know how to. I mean, he's a racehorse. He's galloped and galloped very well, but he's just hasn't really got a clue what we're doing in the school. I mean, I've got him going a little bit more forward then. I'm just encouraging him, just pushing my hand up on the top of his head there. You can see ever so often he'll just drop down. There. And that's all I want, just letting him get that feeling. Actually, if I drop my head down, I can move. I can move much better than what I'm doing now. And you see a lot of people saying that, oh, horses are overbent and what damage it must be doing to their necks and their backs and things. And actually, nobody really comments on what he's doing to his back there now. Head up in the air, kind of like that. It's not going to be comfortable for him, but he doesn't know what I'm asking. He doesn't know what to do. So I just want to get that feeling. Drop your head down. You move a lot better. Get used to the comfort. We can do this. He's snatching away at my hands there, and I'm just trying to stay steady and just keep them down and just not fight him. He's kind of arguing with himself here, so I'm just sitting there and just letting him have that moment. Again, little stroke, head's coming down, little stroke, head's coming down, head coming down. It's just repetitive with them, and eventually it clicks. But it's not easy, and it's not always pretty, and it's hard work on our part as riders, because he has absolutely no idea what I'm asking. So it's all confusing for him. Just finishing off for the session, you can see we haven't done long again. I'm just now in walk, seeing if he can just drop. So I'm just, again, leaning forward, making sure I don't get smacked in the head, and just keeping my hands at a constant and just saying, right, here we go. This is where I'm placing you. And he just drops. Finally, the penny just drops. And, it's took that to get him to figure it out. So we'll leave him on a good note. He can have some time off now, a few days, just to process it, allow his muscles to react to how we've been riding him and change, and get him to relax. So after a few days off, of just allowing him to process what happened the first time we rode him in the school, and just let his muscles relax and chill out, and give him some time to just pop his head down in the field and just chill. So I mean, he looks overall there so much more relaxed, and we literally have done nothing in between those few days. He's come in, he's had some sleep time because Nezar loves to sleep, and that's about it really. He's had maybe a massage with the equissage, but we've just let him chill. So straight away to start with, I'm asking if he remembers what we did on the session before. I'm just trying to drop my hands down. You can see he's like, no, not really, maybe. Thinking about all the things I'm kind of asking him to do here. And you can see he has actually dropped his head down. The level of that neck is just so much more relaxed than it was on that first day. And an improvement already. He's very, very chilled out. He was very chilled out on the first day, but just standing around while I'm doing my irons, little things like this, we're not making a fuss of anything. He's just got to get used to being completely relaxed about this new life that he's doing. And he's such a sweet little horse. I mean, he really does love to sleep, so I've got no issues in the fact that I think he's going to be too enthusiastic about things. I mean, he has the mask on, the titanium mask, because he can sometimes be a little bit, where's my friends, and in the stable. So we popped that on. Not too much now, because it really does send him to sleep in there and I can't get him out of bed. So again, setting off, I'm just lowering those hands down and saying, well, come on, this is where we ended. Let's start where we ended last time. And you can see he's so much more chilled out about it. Really pleased. He's walking away nicely. There's not as much stiffness was through his body as last time. So into trot, just trying to keep the hands low. He's still very much, the neck is so upside down, and that's why it's quite hard for him. But you can see there's already so much improvement compared to that first day. He's getting the idea. He's very chompy on the bit, and people might say, oh, he probably needs a different bit, he probably needs this, he probably needs that. I'm not going to mess about with him. He's so early in his stages that drop my reins, he still doesn't react. You don't really need to think about right or wrong bits at the moment, as long as he's not unhappy in the mouth, which he's not. He's chomping away, but he's a racehorse. They do this. It's anxious, anxiety, things like that. They're trying to figure it out, and that's how they respond to certain things. And I'm just going to let him be on that. And you can see the more and more he's dropping that head down, and he's got lovely little paces, bless him, when he does. And it's very hard because you have to soften, but you also have to hold that so he drops, and he knows it. And it is all about a bit of pressure and release, but it's knowing how much to actually do with them. And also at the same time, I've got to send him forward. I've got to get him moving forward, because if he's not moving forward and he's not going anywhere, he's not going to drop that head down to carry himself along, which then in turn means that nothing's working. So it is all a little bit kicky and pushing, but it's much better to have them going forward than be messing about in walk, constantly saying, right, I want you to drop my head down now, I want you to turn this, I want you to do that, I'm going to do transitions. It might work for some, it doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for the way we retrain them. at the end of the day, when you start a racehorse in its retraining, there's so many big changes that are happening for them. To me, the last thing you want to be doing is not having them move forward, which is something they've always been taught to do. They go forward, they run, they gallop. Try to ask a horse to do a transition from a walk to a halt, halt to a walk to a trot, trot to a walk. It confuses them. They're like, what are you asking me to do? They have no idea about the concept of going on the bit. They have no idea about you sitting down into the saddle and, you know, just squeezing them up into that walk and squeezing them down for it. They don't have a clue unless they have been schooled properly from a young age, which many of them haven't. They're not going to have any idea on what you're asking there. So the trot work's come along great. We've managed to go into canter a lot better. He's very bouncy, but we're going a little bit more forward. I'm staying as soft in the seat as I possibly can. I'm keeping my hands nice and low, my shoulders drop forward, and I'm just pushing him along and pushing him along. And you can see this time there's a lot less of me having to stroke him up the neck to drop his head. He's actually starting to get the idea of where we need to be and figuring out that my hands, a little squeeze on the reins, just drop down. He's all bouncy and all over the place, the head's, but I'm not worried about that. He'll figure it all out for himself. I've just got to leave him alone to work it out. He's trotting away quite nicely. Hopefully the steering is a little bit better than the last time. Now just trying to get him, their heads come up. And it's very hard for them to kind of go into canter in a small arena when their head is up like that, because you can't propel them forward. And you see, I'm just run into the trot, trying as much as I can to get him to actually go, hopefully off onto the right leg. He wasn't sure, he got a bit confused and nearly struck off on the wrong leg. So I just keep tapping him down that shoulder with this stick and just sitting forward, hopefully not going to get smacked in the face, and just drive away, and off he goes. So first few strides, the head's up in the air, there's nothing I can do about that. I just want him to get him moving. And then as we start going a little bit more forward, I can then start asking him to try and drop that head. There we go. Just pushing and scrubbing and just as much as I can, just forward, forward, forward. He's trying to back off a little bit, he's got the head up, and I just keep driving forward, and hopefully we'll just come to a compromise in between. He's actually quite balanced around the corners as well. So he's broke, you know, he's probably feeling tired now. We've done quite a lot with him and they're obviously not used to it. I'm not going to push him anymore. There's absolutely no point. He said to me, look, I'm done now. Thank you very much. Say thank you very much. You've worked great, Nezar. We will slow it all down and just start easing him into the end of his work today. So I always like to try and finish with a bit of a trot where they'll just drop their heads down again if they've got enough energy to do that. And he has. He's beautiful there. There we go. Nice stretch. Well done. Such a good boy. So willing and trying so hard. It's something that he hasn't got a clue what I'm doing to him. But what a lovely boy. And the paces just keep looking nicer and nicer. And they will as he gets stronger and stronger. It all becomes easier for him. He's dropping his head down beautifully there. This is day 2. And look what he's given me. So again, he'll have a nice easy time now. Give him a few days, let him relax, let the muscles chill, the body chill, mentally chill, and then we'll bring you back out for another session. But what a good boy.